Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good tonight. We have some very interesting topics to discuss, some new topics, some topics that have been kind of evolving, marinating, that I finally wanted to talk about, some follow-ups to other topics. But before I even talk about the general description of what I will be discussing in tonight's stream, as you just saw OBS run across my screen, I am currently on my brand new computer. It's been a little bit of a struggle. I am on my brand new computer, so if there are any volume levels that are wrong, please let me know. I'm also using a different microphone because my SM7B, my big boy microphone, is currently having some issues with interference. So while there's interference, I'm back to using my Blue Yeti X. It's a great microphone. I really like it. I have no problems with it. It's just, you know, when you have like an SM7B, you want to use it. So you guys will have to let me know. Hopefully the volume's good. I think that it's good. I think my face looks fine. My camera's nice and small, so you guys don't have to really look at my face. Everything should be okay from my tests, but I am currently on my brand new computer. I don't plan to talk about it too much tonight, just because you can't make me, you're not my real dad. So, it's been a struggle. I've been fighting with the microphone most of the day. Volume levels seem to be okay. And we will still judge you in 2020. Please don't judge me. Don't judge me at all. In 2020, 2021... 2025, doesn't matter. But welcome everyone, I hope that you're doing good. Tonight, we are going to be discussing a lot of topics that, just don't sit right with me. So the first one that I'm going to discuss is actually about Dragonlance. Now, I talked about this initial situation a couple weeks back when we first heard about it, and we haven't really heard any sort of update to it, so obviously I haven't covered it, but now there's a bit of an update. So Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's Dragonlance lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast has been dismissed without prejudice. Now, this is something I actually wasn't expecting to happen. I've got some interesting thoughts on this just because I do think that even though it was dismissed, you know, it's all business decisions when it comes down to it. And I just think that Hasbro didn't want to deal with the situation, so Hasbro basically said, let's try to make money off of a bad situation. We're going to be talking about Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman 1984 has unfortunately failed to meet expectations in a key international market, being the Chinese box office. We know that so many movies are censored and changed around, and, you know, there's different scenes filmed different ways for different regions, and we know that the Chinese box office is pretty damn important to Hollywood and the people making these movies. They really care about making money in that region. And I wanted to also read an article that I'm actually going to probably be discussing in a video tomorrow. Is Wonder Woman 1984 the first #MeToo superhero movie? We hear so many narratives and opinions about the real world thrown into movies, characters ruined because writers just want them to push a narrative or to make a statement. And unfortunately, Wonder Woman is being questioned now. And is Wonder Woman 1984 the first Me Too superhero movie? Isn't really what I wanted to hear about Wonder Woman. There's been a lot of rumors surrounding the next Wonder Woman movie. If it was going to be good, if it was going to be bad, lots of questionable things. Like, we heard that there's going to be lots of references to Trump and the main villains, kind of like a Trump parallel, and now we're hearing something like this. We're going to be discussing Twitch. Now, I initially talked about Twitch and them banning simp, incel, and virgin in one of my previous videos, but Twitch bans accusations of sexual favors between streamers and staff, and with that, I wanted to talk about the reaction to Twitch banning simp, because Twitch basically put themselves in a shitty position. They thought by banning a term like simp or incel or virgin, that would make people not want to say it. They thought that it was going to, you know, make people be a little quiet, not talk about those terms anymore. And unfortunately, the exact opposite happened, and the term simp is up 96% on Twitch. And I wanted to touch on Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red could be facing a possible lawsuit. Now, I've covered a lot of Cyberpunk on the channel, as a lot of you know. It's been a hot topic. I played through the main missions of the game. And I've dedicated a lot of my time recently to Cyberpunk, and I kind of wanted to make a video on this, but I know that people in general are getting pretty worn out with Cyberpunk content, and rightfully so. I completely understand. There's only so much negativity that you can take surrounding a title, especially a title that we were all excited for, that we were pretty disappointed by, but I thought this was still super important to talk about. They could be facing a potential lawsuit. So before we get into the topics, hello everyone. I hope that you're doing well. How is the music volume? I hope that it's good. I don't think that it should be too bad. It might be a little low, like the background audio, but it should be okay. I want an SM7B, but it's $3.99 here in Brazil. Got a HyperX instead. HyperX is pretty good. The SM7B is really good, but unfortunately, the SM7B has a lot of different parts, like moving parts, we'll say, because you have the microphone and the audio interface, and then the cloud lifter. And for me, now I need something for interference. I need some sort of a ground interference box item. It's going to be interesting. I haven't decided which I'm going to get yet, but when it comes to the SM7B, it's a great microphone. It's just there's a lot of like little moving pieces, so if one thing goes wrong, it's very trial and error. I have to, you know, unattach everything, slowly put it back together, see what the problem is, troubleshoot, all of that stuff. So yeah, usually I've been using my SM7B, but for the next couple days, I'm going to be using my Blue Yeti X, which is fine. I think the quality is good enough. To be honest, I'm tired of hearing about it. Yeah, that's the thing with Cyberpunk, is that even though there's a lot of news surrounding the game and CD Projekt Red, I don't want people to get worn out, because then you guys don't watch the videos, don't stop by live streams, you don't care about the content. And obviously, yeah, in a way I create content for myself, but I also mainly create content for you guys. Like, yeah, I'm only going to talk about topics that I genuinely care about, and while I do genuinely care about Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, instead of doing a full dedicated video, I can just hang out with you guys, talk about it in a stream, and leave it at that. I've made many videos on Cyberpunk, and I don't want you guys to get worn out. And plus, with other content creators, you know, making videos too, everyone is slowly getting tired of Cyberpunk. It just wasn't the game that we thought it was going to be, and unfortunately CD Projekt Red hasn't responded in the best way possible, which is unfortunate because we all really loved CD Projekt Red. I still like CD Projekt Red. I hope that they can kind of fix their shit and kind of like get themselves together in a way. But hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you're doing good. We will get started on the topics in just a minute. Everything makes sense now. Wow, okay. That makes, yes, a lot of sense. Hello, Drew. How are you doing? Hope your evening's going good. Simp is an everyday word when your job is to slay them. True. Frank is the simp slayer. That's very true. Twitch, guys. Twitch is, you know, I've been considering making, you know, a random Twitch account and live streaming on that Twitch account and just, you know, simp, incel, virgin, see how long it takes me to get banned, because I know what would happen. Like, I'm a no one to them. They try to ban me, and it's kind of like, you know, go ahead, try, see what happens. Okay. Well, how long do you guys think it would take me to get banned on Twitch? I'd say an hour and a half. Probably. I've become less and less interested in watching stuff on Twitch. I still like a lot of creators on Twitch. You know, there are certain creators who don't create content on other platforms, and I think that Twitch is still a good platform for the type of content you want to create, but they need to be very different when it comes to what creators can and can't do, what creators can and can't say, how they can act. You can't tell people how they can act. I do genuinely believe that, like, when it comes to a term like simp or incel or virgin, streamers should be allowed to just ban it in their chats if they want, ban people from saying it, and then if you're a streamer and you allow people to say it, you allow them to say it, and that's that. People should be allowed to monitor their own platform, their own little bubble in a way. That's how I feel streaming is. It's your own little bubble. But alright, you guys, we are going to get started with the first topic. Now, I did initially discuss this when it happened, and we didn't have a lot of information on it besides what was initially filed, and a little bit from Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman's point of view. But Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman's Dragonlance lawsuit against Wizards of the Coast has been dismissed without prejudice. Now, Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman's Dragonlance lawsuit against WotC was dismissed without prejudice. I actually kind of wasn't expecting this. I thought that this was going to be one of those suits that was long and drawn out, and everyone was going to try to jump through hoops. I figured Wizards of the Coast was just going to try to jump through hoops as much as they could. Nothing would come out of it for a long time. But I guess I was wrong. So Weis and Hickman initially sued WotC for over $30 million, claiming they breached a license agreement for a new Dragonlance trilogy. It says the lawsuit revealed that Weis and Hickman had contracted with Wizards of the Coast to license a new Dragonlance trilogy that would be published by Penguin Random House. It went on to detail that Weis and Hickman had begun working on the trilogy and had even sent WotC the manuscript for the first book, who approved it in January 2020. Even foreign language editions were reportedly being translated. So it does sound like the project had gone far. It wasn't like some little project that, you know, they didn't get, like, how do I say it? Like, they hadn't moved along. It's not like one of those projects that just kind of halted for a while and they were questioning if it was really going to happen. No, they were really going hard on this, the idea of this book at least. It says, however, by August 2020, the lawsuit claimed that Wizards of the Coast would not approve any further drafts of Book 1 or any subsequent works in the trilogy, effective how do I say this? Repudiating, why can't I speak today, and terminating the licensing agreement, please. Okay, sometimes I can talk. The suit went on to allege that no reason was provided for the termination, and the termination was wholly arbitrary and without contractual basis. It goes on to claim that the termination was unlawful and in violation of multiple aspects of the license agreement, arguably almost every part of it, in fact. The termination had also had the knowing and premeditated effect of precluding publication and destroying the value of Weis and Hickman's work, not to mention their publishing deal with Penguin Random House. This, in my opinion, was pretty serious. When we see a lawsuit going towards someone or a company like Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, anything like that, you take it pretty seriously. But when we heard that it was $30 million that they wanted, you knew that it was going to be an extremely serious case. And I'm not saying that they were, like, out of their realm asking for that amount of money. It's just, it was a big amount of money, and Weis and Hickman are very well known in the industry. It says the suit also claimed that WotC terminated the licensing agreement because Wizards of the Coast was embroiled in a series of embarrassing public disputes whereby its non-Dragonlance publications were exercised for racism and sexism. Of course, they believe that Wizards of the Coast dropped their book and their series because of social media outrage and public outrage. Now, this doesn't sound that far-fetched. We've seen this happen before, where a company will cancel a project or drop writers, actors, producers, whoever, because of social media outrage. So to hear that this was their assumption is legitimate in my mind. If this was, you know, even 10 years ago or something, I'm sure a lot of us would be like, they're not going to fire someone over public outrage. But now, you know, with social media and everything being so different, hearing someone being fired because of social media outrage is like, oh yeah, that's normal. Like, we're not that surprised by it anymore. So it says Weiss and Hickman would bring 3 claims against WotC. The first was breach of contract. The second was breach of implied duty of good faith and fair dealing. And the third was interference with contract. They were seeking in excess of $10 million for each claim. And it says the suit would be voluntarily dismissed without prejudice. I do really like Bounding into Comics quite a lot, but I feel like they should have put that in the title, that it was voluntary. Because when you read that their lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice, you kind of think like, oh, so it was just dropped. No, it was voluntarily dismissed without prejudice. It says a court document reads, do I really want to go through this? Rule 41 of the Federal Rules of Civic Procedure, Plaintiff Margaret Weiss, LLC, and Tracy Hickman hereby give notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed as to Wizards of the Coast, LLC, without prejudice. Reading lawsuits is not fun. It's never fun. You got all these rules, 41A, 1A, I. Come on, guys. We can't read that stuff. We're too lazy for that. It says the document continued defendants WotC had not filed an answer or motion for summary judgment. No proceedings or discovery had been undertaken as to these claims, and this action is not subject to any federal statute, which would preclude the dismissal of this action under rule, lots of numbers and letters. For those unfamiliar with legal jargon, the Legal Information Institute defines dismissal without prejudice. They state when a case is dismissed without prejudice, it leaves the plaintiffs free to bring another suit based on the same grounds. For example, if the defendant doesn't follow through on the terms of a settlement. It says Weiss would take to Twitter to confirm that the lawsuit was dismissed. Now, it sounds from, you know, it being voluntarily dismissed and Margaret Weiss tweeting about it, that Wizards of the Coast went to them and said, we'll publish your book maybe. We don't know, but Margaret Weiss had actually tweeted out, I know some of you have seen that our lawsuit against WotC was dismissed. I can't say anything yet, but watch for exciting news in the weeks to come, and thank you so much for your support. To me, it sounds like they're just going to continue working with Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss, which is great in my opinion, because, you know, they've done a lot of good for the industry. They've done a lot of good for, you know, Dungeons and Dragons, and we have Dragonlance and all that. But I'm sure that Wizards of the Coast really did want to cancel it in this series, because these people were right. You know, the book didn't follow the narrative that Wizards of the Coast wanted to push in the name of, like, social justice, because the Dragonlance novel probably continued to follow classic fantasy, and we all know the stupid shit that's being said about classical fantasy, like racism and sexism and all of that. So they probably followed on that in their books, you know, classical fantasy, and now Wizards of the Coast was like, no, wait, we can't have that. We can't publish that. It's not woke enough. You know, we can't do that. You know, racism, sexism, all of the ists and isms under the sun. And I bet Hasbro was looking at the lawsuit, and they didn't think that they'd win probably. So they figured they'd try to make money off of it instead of lose $30 million. So to me, it kind of sounds like they reached some sort of deal, some sort of agreement, because Margaret Weiss is tweeting out, I can't say anything yet, but thank you so much for supporting us. Look for exciting news in the weeks to come. So it does sound like they're going to continue to work with Wizards of the Coast, at least for now. Maybe only one book will be published. Maybe they'll continue on, you know, Dragonlance. Who knows? That's the thing, is I don't want to, like, get too into speculation realm because we don't know. I don't want to get anyone excited. But it says Weiss would also seemingly reveal that Draconians will be showing up in D&D 5e rule set. Draconians were teased by Deathstroke actor in a video for Wired. Scrolling down, Weiss would retweet a Dragonlance Nexus tweet referring to his draconian reveal. They wrote, "The Dragonlance lawsuit has been settled, folks. This is definitely good news and probably leads to the name drop of 5 Draconians by Joe Manganiello," is that how you say his name? Earlier this week. So, yeah, like I said, it sounds like it was dropped. It sounds like they were looking at this suit and went, wow, we're going to lose a shit ton of money. And then they decided, aha, instead of losing a shit ton of money, let's just give them what they want, which is potentially, you know, the book publishing and who knows. I'm glad, in a way, to see that this situation has been resolved for now, that the lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice, voluntarily dismissed without prejudice. So we're going to have to see where it goes. When something is announced, whether it's a book or whether, you know, it's another project that they're going to be working on, if they say in the future we're going to be doing other stuff, I will definitely let you all know, because I'm actually pretty curious to see where this is going to go. If they're just going to disappear into the sunset, which I don't think is going to happen, let's be honest. It's fucking Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. They're not just going to disappear in for any amount of money. But we'll have to see, and when I have an update to that, I will definitely let you all know. So, with that being said, that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic, and we will move on to the next one in just a second. Music. Thanks. Much appreciated if you could play the music. Hi. Vera's got arms. I do in fact have arms. I love Dragonlance. Anime fan 1982. Who doesn't love Dragonlance? Vera wearing a short sleeve shirt. What is this? It's a change. It's a change. I mean, if I want to be a female Twitch streamer, I gotta start showing more than just arms, apparently. I'm done. I'm done. I would never disrespect another female streamer. Hey, you know, props to the girls that want to do stuff like that. Just, Twitch isn't the proper platform for it. I have an interview with Activision next week. Oh, yeah? That sounds interesting. I don't like Dragonlance. There, I'm different. I don't know if we can have that. I don't know. It sounds pretty suspicious. Does Vera ever wear anything than black? Sometimes I wear red. New computer outputting more heat, hence short sleeves. You know, that's actually kind of like a 2 + 2 = 5 move. That's actually pretty good. No. But I mean, that's a pretty good answer. Now you just need to prove that you have legs? Maybe one day. Women should be allowed to show whatever they want of themselves on the internet. Women should be able to do whatever they want. Just put it on the proper platform. That's fine. Go ahead, do it. I am all for you. Power to the woman. Strength be with you, but that's not the place for Twitch. Twitch isn't the place for that, I should say. Alright guys, so we are going to move on to the next topic. Now, I was pretty excited about Wonder Woman 1984 at the beginning. I thought that the first Wonder Woman movie was pretty good, and I think that a lot of you would agree. I feel like the general consensus is that the first Wonder Woman movie was pretty decent. It wasn't bad. Yeah, it had a couple of moments that were kind of like, okay, did we really need that in the movie? But the overall story was pretty good. And that kind of led me to believe that maybe Wonder Woman 1984 would be good as well. But there are a couple of two different things actually that I want to discuss with Wonder Woman 1984. The first one is that 1984 Wonder Woman, Woman Wonder, 48.91 underperforms at the Chinese box office, and I want to quickly read to you all, or skim over this banger of an article, because I'm going to cover this in a video tomorrow. So I want you to watch the video tomorrow, so I'm not going to give you my full opinions on this. Is Wonder Woman 1984 the first Me Too superhero movie? Gal Gadot does battle with supervillains and everyday sexism in DC's cliche clobbering sequel. Is it a sign of the genre's future? Comic book movies, man, superheroes are dead. So despite the heavy fan anticipation and Warner Brothers' own confidence in the film, the premiere of Wonder Woman 1984 has failed to meet expectations in a key international market. Per The Hollywood Reporter, the picture is off to a sluggish start in China, the world's second largest film market, where it lags behind the Chinese-produced action hit The Rescue. When it comes to the Chinese box office, if you don't know, a lot of us know, Hollywood only cares about making that sweet, sweet Chinese money. And it's not just Hollywood, it's every industry. Let's look at technology. Let's look at the gaming industry. There are developers who will bend over backwards so that their games can be sold in China. The same thing happens when it comes to movies. Now, we all know China's very strict with what type of content's allowed, so a lot of the time a movie like Wonder Woman would have to be censored, altered. Scenes might be shot very differently. So basically, there's two different versions of the movie, one for regions like China and one for regions like ours. It's just because everyone wants that sweet, sweet Chinese money. The article says, according to estimates from Asian cinema consultant Film, Wonder Woman 84 grossed a mid-Friday evening total of $4.6 million, landing solidly in second place behind The Rescue's $8.9 million. So it's not completely bombing. It is not doing completely terrible, but clearly it's not doing amazing. Now, it says the first Wonder Woman movie, for comparison, did reasonably well in China, grossing over $38 million in its opening weekend and $90.5 million in total by the time it left theaters. Chinese moviegoers look to be avoiding Wonder Woman altogether. As of Sunday, the sequel made just $18.8 million in China. As such, the film is currently on track to make an estimated $45 million, less than half of what its predecessor made. Gal Gadot's Amazon warrior will need a surprise lift from somewhere, such as generous screen share from IMAX China. It currently has 90% of the country's 700-plus giant screens this weekend, or perhaps strong turnout from families on Saturday or Sunday to emerge from the weekend in stride. Now, it says, unfortunately for 84, reviews from Chinese critics haven't been the most favorable. Movie ticketing website, one of them, gave Wonder Woman 84 a score of 8 out of 10. In my opinion, an 8 out of 10 is a really good for a movie. If I was looking up a movie and I saw an 8 out of 10, I would probably go and see it. Like, if I was wanting to see the movie and I just wanted to read reviews and I saw an 8 out of 10, I'd be like, hell yeah, that sounds good. Another social media site whose scores always skew lower than the mainstream ticketing apps gave the film a 7.1, the exact same score that the first film received. Reviews here in the States aren't great either. Critics have described the film as a victim of the very excess and shortcuts it seeks to critique, and lamented how a Wonder Woman story in 2020 could be uplifting and inspiring, but the film is neither. Now, I do want to say that we have to take into consideration that COVID is going on. I think it is very important to compare these numbers to the numbers of the original movie, but I also think that it is extremely important to take into consideration that we are going through a pandemic. It is the holidays. I mean, in a couple days, it's Christmas. Hanukkah just passed. Everyone's celebrating the holidays, spending time with family. A lot of people are being told they can't even go and see their own family, never mind going to a movie theater to see a movie. Like, a lot of people aren't going to see it, probably in China as well, in the States, no matter where you are. So that is also something that needs to be pointed out here. But it says, as of writing, the flick stands at a healthy 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, though this score is notably lower than the 93% held by the first film. It sounds like people are generally enjoying the movie. I think that an 84 is a very good score for a movie. I mean, a 93 is an amazing score, but an 84 is pretty decent. I don't think that is bad. But it says, while 84 has thus far performed far below expectations, Variety notes that this may have been a result of how the Chinese box office saw its lowest pre-Christmas weekend since 2014, despite the country's low levels of coronavirus threat. People are still worried about coronavirus. It's, you could say the threat's a little bit lower. People are still worried about it. It says, furthermore, its second place finish behind The Rescue is unsurprising given that the popular action film is a state-funded production about Chinese military might and bravery and has supposedly benefited from good word of mouth. I'd rather see a superhero female kicking ass. Sorry. And then the article finishes off with saying, Wonder Woman 84 is currently slated to release in theaters on HBO Max on Christmas Day, a fitting date considering that the film may need a Christmas miracle in order to break even. I feel like yeah, it's definitely not doing great. It's not doing bad either, though. I think that is important to point out. It's not doing terrible. But I wanted to bring you all over to the next article about Wonder Woman because as a female, I love to see strong female characters in lead roles. Like in superhero movies, I love to see characters like Wonder Woman. I think that it's cool. I think that it's awesome. I would say a character like Wonder Woman, when she's written properly, she is an empowering female character. But to see an article like this makes me extremely worried about this film, but also the future of superhero movies, because this article reads, is Wonder Woman 1984 the first Me Too superhero movie? Gal Gadot does battle with supervillains and everyday sexism in DC's cliche clobbering sequel. Is it a sign of the genre's future? If this is a sign of the genre's future, well, I guess we all need to get out of the sinking ship now. There's a scene in Wonder Woman 1984 where the luminous Diana Prince, Gal Gadot, glides into a crowded party. Everyone is staring at her, but this is no Cinderella moment, with admiring glances and a collective gasp. It's an expose of sexual harassment. Oh boy! I can't wait to go and see this superhero movie filled with, anti-sexual harassment material. I've been waiting so long to see Wonder Woman, the sexual harassment expose. No one's saying that because no one wants to see that. No one wants to go and see Wonder Woman and go, wow, this has a really deep meaning about sexual harassment. And I'm not saying that sexual harassment doesn't happen. I'm not saying that it's not important. But is a superhero movie the place to talk about the woes of everyday life and the problems that people face? No? At least to me. So it says the camera switches to Diana's POV, and we experience a series of persistent, entitled men cracking onto a woman who is clearly not interested. It's a rare case of a superhero movie showing everyday sexism from the women's point of view. So basically, they're saying in this movie that all the men in the movie are entitled men, very persistent entitled men. I just want to raise the question, have we gone to the point where looking at a woman is bad? Men in chat, answer me. Do you feel like you can't look at a pretty woman because you're going to get in trouble for it? I'm genuinely curious because I feel like that's the majority of you are going to say, yeah. With the way that social medias and Karens are, I'm sure that a lot of people do feel like you can't look at a pretty woman anymore because that might be sexual harassment. It is ridiculous in this article for them to say something like, oh, persistent entitled men are looking at a woman who is clearly not interested. That's an expose of sexual harassment. So the article continues on with, it is a fitting move from Patty Jenkins, the film's director and co-writer who has developed the accessible feminism of 2017's Wonder Woman in tune with the times. I just want to say, when it comes to the first Wonder Woman movie, I understand that there were parts that were very feminism. I'm all for feminism if we're talking about real feminism. I'm just going to put that there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that in Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, there were a couple of moments that were not the best, could have been written better, but I feel like overall, they did kind of try to push a narrative into it, but the writing was done well, and it's I want to kind of say it was done better than it could have been, because, you know, we still had the romance, we still had that. It's not like they basically said every man is terrible, all these men are awful. They didn't say that in that movie. Unfortunately, though, in this movie, it sounds like they definitely tried to push that, oh, men are bad. All the men are sexist and entitled.
They
Unfortunately.
Hero movies.
Thank you for the $7 donation, Justin. Much appreciated. I don't think that all superhero movies are dead. I think that, unfortunately, you know, when it comes to superhero movies, most of them are just bad. Some of them can still be done properly, and if you have a good writer, good directors, good actors, superhero movies can be fucking amazing. I mean, let's look at something like The Joker. Villain movie, superhero, it's all the same. It's fine. You guys understand what I'm saying. But, unfortunately, I feel like, yeah, a lot of the superhero stories are just ruined now. It says, since the release... Again, thank you for the donation. It says, since the release of the first film, the accusation against Harvey Weinstein emerged, and the Me Too and Time's Up movements were born... and the Producers Guild of America released new guidelines to combat sexual harassment on set. The first film to sign up to the guidelines, Wonder Woman, 1984. That's okay, cool, but why do we have to talk about this? This isn't about the movie. You know, what happens on the set of a movie isn't what should be inside of the movie. So if they're saying they signed up for some program to help fight sexual harassment and harassment in general on the side of the movie, okay, good for you. But why do you have to shove that into the movie itself? There's a big difference between what's in the movie and what happens around the movie and the cast. Apparently not to these people, though. It says, throughout Wonder Woman 1984, Diana and her new friend Barbara endure unwanted male attention, from chat-up lines to sexual assault. It is suggested that this is a factor in both Diana's reclusive lifestyle and Barbara's dark desire for power. Okay. In films where a formerly meek woman gets superpowers, she will lash out against the men who harass, points out O'Hara. Catwoman did back in 1992, in Batman Returns, and again in the Halle Berry film in 2004. She also goes on to reference Hit Girl. Interestingly, a lot of these women are anti-heroines or morally murky figures. Elsewhere, in the nostalgic story, there's a playful feminist streak at work. The villain, Maxwell Lord, poses in cheesy TV adverts with a bevy of models echoing Biff Tannen in Back to the Future Part 2. In an inversion of a famous movie cliche, the dressing up montage involves a man. Walking in high heels is revealed to be an actual superpower, and Barbara is clearly in awe of Diana's extraordinary beauty and poise. It is acknowledged to be an unattainable ideal. While her appearance helps sell movies, Wonder Woman's kindness is her most important attribute in the plot. Now we're gonna insult Gal Gadot for being pretty? They're like, oh, well, while her appearance, you know, helps her sell movies, there is more to her than a pretty face. She's pretty. It's like a backhanded insult. It's like, yeah, we're saying she's pretty, but, you know, fuck the patriarchy. So it says Wonder Woman 1984 feels like a Me Too movie in many senses, but will more superhero films commit to the cause? This year's production crisis could set back progress on sets. The PGA guidelines require extra training of all cast and crew, and at a time where productions are having to spend around 20% of their budget to implement COVID safety protocols, these kinds of optimal extras may fall to the wayside. And then it ends off with, at least with a bit of luck, next year will bring more female superheroes to the big screen. Of course, after releasing Captain Marvel. In 2019, Disney's 2021 plans included delayed Black Widow, Eternals, that's a lot of powerful A-list female talent ready to kick harassers into line, or even just gently nudge them into the present. So we all know that Black Widow is going to be a Me Too story because Scarlett Johansson and the director, I don't remember the director's name, literally said that it's going to focus a lot on Me Too and, social justice, feminism. So it could still turn out good, guys. Okay, I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984, and this could just be the writer of this article's point of view. Maybe the movie doesn't even look, how do I say this? Maybe the movie isn't that deep. Maybe this writer is just trying to twist all these things that they saw and create a situation, but it sounds like there's a lot of evidence here pointing to it actually being a very Me Too feminism movie. And when it comes to Black Widow, we already know that it's going to be focused on Me Too and feminism because the director and Scarlett Johansson literally said that's the direction that they're going in, characters fighting their past, moving forward, becoming strong women, all of that. So that's all that I really had to discuss with this. I am going to be talking about this more in depth in a video tomorrow. If you're watching this live, hi. Put a wave in chat. Put a little wave. Put a little hi. So yeah, I'll be talking about this more in a video tomorrow, so make sure to stop by for that. Probably 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern, probably 10 a.m. Eastern. The video will be up. But that's all that I really had to discuss with that. We are going to move on to the next topic in just a minute. And we're going to move to simp topics. Feels pretty bad, man. No hint of that from the Black Widow trailers. Right, and that's why I said this movie could be great, Wonder Woman could be great, and maybe Black Widow will be great, but with the comments made from people working on the movie and the literal main actress herself, it makes you go, okay, it's probably going to be that because she's saying that it's going to be that, but we can all hope for the best, just we should probably also expect the worst, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't want to have to expect the worst when it comes to new movies and TV shows and entertainment in general. I want these things to be good, and I don't want things to be bad, guys. I don't want things to be bad. I just want things to be good. It's time for the simp topic. I'm just reading chat really quickly. I think triangles are just Doritos. I don't know what that means. Doritos are yummy, though. I watch movies because it's a distraction and entertainment. I don't want far-left propaganda shoved down my throat. Well, I don't think that any propaganda should be shoved down someone's throat when they're watching a movie. I understand that some movies definitely are focused on something like that. They're trying to tell a specific side of a story, but we're talking about superhero movies. We're talking about Wonder Woman. It's not that deep. Just make a good movie. Just write a good series. Yeah, I feel like people now just don't really know what's actually bad. They just label everything bad. It depends on what you mean. I don't expect the best for at least 10 years now. Yeah, fair enough. It's unfortunate that we all have to expect the worst. That's shitty. It's shitty that that's the position that we're in. We literally can't even freaking watch movies anymore without worrying about, oh, what's changed? You know, what narrative is it pushing? It is pretty depressing. It makes you want to sip that depresso espresso. Speaking of espresso, I could go for coffee. There's 100 viewers here. Hey you. Yeah, I see you. Hit the like button. We're at 70 likes. There's 100 of you here. Give it a like. I think pizzas are circles. Pizza's good. I'm not much of a movie person, but it is sad how the industry has gone. Yeah, even if you're not much of a movie person, because I'm sure a lot of you just like casually watch movies and you're not much movie people. When it comes to any industry, it's sad to see an industry go to shit so quickly as well. But the movie industry just, whoo, boy, has that gone terrible very quickly. Alright, you guys, so we are going to start on the next topic now. I talked about this in a video. I talked about Twitch's initial ban of the words simp, incel, and virgin. I think that it is ridiculous that they are language policing people more than they already were. Now, I understand a platform wouldn't want people going around insulting each other, saying very racist, cruel, and vile things to each other. I can completely understand that. But Twitch has taken it 10 steps further when it comes to language policing. I am someone, as a content creator, you know, I believe this, I'm sure a lot of other content creators believe this as well, that when you are a content creator, you kind of have your own bubble. So, like right now, guys, we're all in our own bubble, okay? Give this stream bubble a like. And I should be allowed to let my community say what they want. And if I don't want someone to say something, I should be able to ban it, and that's that. So if I don't want you guys to say simp, incel, virgin in my chat, I should be able to ban the term so that no messages with that term go through. And if I want terms like simp, incel, and virgin in my chat and in my stream, I should be allowed to not ban them and have them there. I don't want companies saying what my bubble can and can't include, as long as, you know, it's not anything illegal. But Twitch has kind of continued to update their rules a little bit. They've tried to say, oh no, people just misinterpreted what we were saying. People just misunderstood all of that to try to, you know, cover their asses. Twitch bans accusations of sexual favors between streamers and staff. I just want to say the same thing I said in my previous video about this. All of these rules are only to protect one type of creator on Twitch. All of these rules, 90% of them, let's say, are only to protect female streamers. That's it. That's literally it. So as part of Twitch's revamped community guidelines, a number of very specific rules have caught the eye of streamers and audiences alike. One of particular notes prohibits accusations that a streamer was not banned due to sexual favors. So sometimes a meme, sometimes serious. There's often been talk about streamers getting off lightly with otherwise bannable violations of Twitch's TOS by essentially bribing the moderation team. Now, I've talked about this quite a lot. You know, I think that Twitch's terms of service is very inconsistently applied. While I do think that obviously it's fine for a website to have some sort of terms of service, because every website's going to have it even if we don't like it, I do think that a big problem with Twitch is that they don't consistently enforce anything at all whatsoever. Some people will get banned for doing something bad. Some people won't get banned for doing something bad. Let's use a little bit of an example now. I'm obviously not a Twitch streamer. I only very lightly, you know, follow situations with Twitch. Right now, right now, Forsen is banned because he accidentally showed nudity on his stream, right? He's indefinitely banned. He accidentally had opened a tab that had nudity and he got banned for indefinitely. We don't know when. People think that he's going to be unbanned soon for it. Now, Pokimane did the same thing and got a 3-day ban. She accidentally opened up a porn tab that someone had sent to her and she only got a 3-day ban. Let's also look at the fact that Forsen is banned right now because he accidentally showed nudity. There is a girl who literally went on stream 2 days ago and showed her lady parts for 10 minutes. And she got a 3-day ban. Yet Minx, another Twitch streamer, went on Twitch and said the word simp and got a 7-day ban. So saying simp gets you a 7-day ban. Accidentally showing nudity gets you banned indefinitely. If you're Pokimane, it only gets you banned for 3 days as long as you apologize. And there are girls literally just full nude, showing lady parts for 10 minutes. We're not talking like maybe you were wearing a low-cut shirt, maybe your boob had a little bit of a slip, it fell out. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, like, I can't talk about it. I'm gonna get banned off of YouTube. But there is a clear bias at Twitch, and it's very unfortunate because there are so many creators at Twitch on the platform who love the platform because they don't get in trouble because they're very PC creators. You're either a giant creator and can do whatever you want, or you're a small creator and you have to follow their rules very carefully. And I think that Twitch should exist because it gives people an alternative if they want to live stream, so not everyone has to be like on YouTube. By the way, if you're enjoying the YouTube live stream, consider donating via Streamlabs. Tell me if you're a simp or an incel. I'm just kidding. And there are some creators who genuinely like the platform, but their rules are so inconsistently enforced. That is why I never went to Twitch. Because I live stream. You guys are watching my live stream here. 109 of you. What the fuck are you guys doing with your lives? There's 109 of you here right now. I appreciate you. But while YouTube is good for live streaming, Twitch has very great features for live streamers, but unfortunately, the reason why I never went to Twitch was just because of their enforcement of terms of service. So anyway, we went off on a big tangent there. The article says, in Twitch's new policy going to effect in January 2021, such accusations will be considered under the sexual harassment section of the community guidelines prohibited on Twitch. Now, the section in question is labeled making derogatory statements about another person's perceived sexual practices or sexual morality. You know, Twitch, do you really have to go into this much depth? It says alleging that a person is sexually immoral due to their attire or physical appearance, stating that a person's attire reflects negatively on their sexual practices, suggesting that a person's channel is only popular or has not been banned due to sexual favors, and repeatedly negatively targeting another person with sexually focused terms such as whore or virgin. It lays out 2 very specific instances claiming a streamer is popular due to sexual favors to Twitch staff or that it helped them avoid a ban. This kind of claim has been made repeatedly about some of the most high-profile streamers, namely Pokimane, Alinity, and Amaranth. I don't have anything against these female creators. I really don't. But there is clearly a bias here between how female streamers are treated and how male streamers are treated. There is a clear bias, which is very unfortunate. Basically, if you're a man, get wrecked. It's sad. It really is, because obviously I'm not a guy. I'm a female. So I have the same experiences that any female creator would have. But it's just, if I was a male creator, I wouldn't want to be on Twitch. If I was a male creator, I wouldn't go to Twitch. I would be solely on something like YouTube. And unfortunately, you know, it does lower your options as to what type of content you create and in the way you can create the content. But there is a clear bias here. And there's not enough people that realize it, because a lot of these big female streamers are like, there's no bias, there's nothing going on. And while some of them might be treated the same as a male creator, while some of them might not get, you know, more chances than another female creator, some of these female creators are getting lots of extra chances. I think that it is ridiculous that Twitch is worried about terms like simp and virgin and incel when they literally have people being permabanned for DMCA. Their priorities are wackadoo. Their priorities are on Saturn and Jupiter that are about to collide and end the universe. Like, what are they doing? So, I wanted to also read this tweet. Let me bring it up on Twitter. I'm not even logged into Twitter, It says, this week's meta term simp was banned on Twitch. Following its ban, chat mentions of simp doubled compared to previous 15-day average. Read our post for more analytics and insights. And as it says, you know, it clearly shows chat mentioning simp doubled after the Twitch ban. On December 16th, simp chats were 97% higher than the previous 15-day average. They literally Streisand effect themselves. They tried to deflect a situation and calm a situation down by saying, maybe if we tell people not to use this term, they won't use it. They'll hush hush. They'll be afraid of getting banned. Boom! It just exploded for them. Their priorities are whack right now. And I get that they want to create an inclusive environment for females. But what about for the male streamers? I want to ask, what are they doing to protect male creators on the platform? This is clearly a way to protect female creators. You know, sometimes, yeah, a male creator will, like, look at someone's Twitter and they'll go, haha, simp. Their audience will be like, simp, what a incel, whatever. But this is clearly a move to protect female creators. What about the men? Twitch, what are you doing to protect your male creators? I don't see anything. So that's all that I really had to discuss with that topic. Twitch's priorities are very odd right now. They did ban accusations of sexual favors between streamers and staff. And the term simp is just being way more used than it was previously, and we can obviously tell why. When you tell people not to use a term and not to say something, we all go, you know what we do? We go, That's what we do. Check chat. That's what we do. We type simp 20 times because we think it's funny. Because we're jokers. Because we're just people on the internet having fun. It's not that deep. So, yeah. That's what we do. We just go to fucking chat and type simp. I need merch that says simp alert. I gotta make it before someone else does. I gotta do it. Again, I think that Twitch was a good platform and could be a good platform. It's just there's a clear bias when it comes to male creators, there's female creators, and the rules that they implement to protect female creators. And I'm not saying, I just want to say this, I'm not saying that female creators don't experience harassment online, because they definitely do. But so do men. Male creators online experience harassment. Female creators online experience harassment, and while the harassment may be different, while female creator harassment may be more sexual in nature, and, you know, male harassment may not be, every gender experiences harassment. What is Twitch doing to protect their male creators right now? They're not really protecting any creators. Twitch isn't protecting anyone. They're allowing people to get false DMCA'd, struck off the platform, permabanned. They're permanently banning and indefinitely suspending people for accidentally showing pornography on their stream. Yet when a female spreads her lady parts wide for the camera for 10 minutes, 3-day ban. That's all. We're gonna set it and forget it. Hit it and quit it. That's all that I had to talk about. I'm done. I'm ranting about Twitch. I'm not a Twitch streamer yet. Incoming. Just realized there's a 10-second lag for my YouTube on my TV. No clue why. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Hope your evening's going well. I didn't even see you. Too busy simping for men. No big deal. Twitch makes rules and breaks them. Twitch's rule enforcements are very inconsistent. And that's really the problem that I have with Twitch is just they're inconsistent as hell. Guys, put something positive in chat. Did you guys, before we move on to the next topic of the night, the last topic of the night, did you guys get any positive news today? Is there anything positive you want to talk about? Anything positive you want to mention? I'm waiting. There's a 10-second, 15-second stream delay. I'll wait. I'm waiting. What's the positivity? Are you ditching us for Twitch Fair? No. Everyone's saying Twitch is gonna die pretty soon. I see a lot of yeses. Yeses to what? Pizza's good. I could agree. Stardew Valley 1.5. Ooh, true. That's pretty good. It's Christmas week. That's true, guys. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, well, fine. Don't accept my Merry Christmas. I tried. We came, we saw, we conquered. Pizza. Oh, guys, can you stop talking about pizza? I could really go for a pizza right now. Extra cheese, bacon, onions, peppers. I could go for that. With some breadsticks. And for dessert, fried ice cream. Oh, we can't talk about food. I'm done. I'm done. I can't talk about it. Okay. Stop. Stop it, guys. Stop. Genshin Impact. Hey, I don't play Genshin Impact, but I'm glad so many of you guys like Genshin Impact and are excited for new updates for it. That's good. Talk about how great Stadia is and it's the future of gaming. True. Future of gaming. Best platform ever. Amazing. Perfect. Beautiful. Fantastic. I got a job with USPS today. Congratulations, Sumo. That's awesome. It's awesome to hear. Yeah, guys, now I'm hungry. Damn it, you guys. All awful toppings. Not as awful as you, Trent. Hey, okay, bacon, peppers, onions. That's pretty good. Now I'm hungry. Sorry, chat. Alright, guys, so we are going to talk about the last topic of the night, which is Cyberpunk. Now, you guys know I've talked about Cyberpunk a lot here on the channel, so I don't want to reiterate a lot of points that I've made because I've already done that a lot. But you guys know I've talked about Cyberpunk a lot. I did a full playthrough here on the channel, well, a full playthrough of the main storyline. I will do a second playthrough eventually once the game's more fixed, more polished, not as buggy and glitched. But the launch for Cyberpunk hasn't been perfect. It had a lot of problems. The game was like a 7 out of 10 with the problems that it had. And a lot of people are rightfully very angry about it. I completely understand that there are plenty of people out there who are very frustrated with the state of the game. That CD Projekt Red executives said a couple months ago, the game runs really well on last generation consoles, and you get the game, and now the game is garbage. I don't want to say it's garbage, it's just very poor quality. Needs a lot of work. And now, to add to the saga, to add to the story, Cyberpunk 2077 Studio could be facing a possible lawsuit. So CD Projekt Red seems to be facing another major issue concerning Cyberpunk 2077, a possible class action lawsuit from those in Warsaw. So it says a new article from the New York Times features not only an intricate deep dive into Cyberpunk 2077's entire pre- and post-launch saga, but quite the damning final paragraph. According to the piece, CDPR could be facing a major class action lawsuit. The immediate future looks dark for Cyberpunk's makers, perhaps even darker than the future they built in Night City. Refund requests are pouring in by the thousands. Lawyers and investors in Warsaw are circling the situation, contemplating a class action lawsuit against the company for potential criminal misrepresentation in order to receive financial benefits, according to a regulatory filing. Many gamers are swearing off playing Cyberpunk entirely until the company fixes all of the problems. And in this statement from the said regulatory filing, translated from Google Translate, in connection with the recent events, and in particular the suspension of the sale of this Cyberpunk product, we are currently analyzing together with the law firm's team the grounds for bringing a class action together, with the notification of possibility of committing a crime under Art 286 of the Penal Code, misrepresentation in order to obtain financial benefits. It says the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 has been riddled with controversy and bugs. Controversy is that a lot of the controversy before the game came out was like made up. It was kind of fake. It was kind of a faker-daker. It says with the first update being introduced last week and fixed some issues. That first update fixed like 2 problems. Now CDPR has pushed out the latest update for PlayStation and Xbox systems. PC players will be getting the update sometime soon. However, one of those issues seems to be something that not even the company can completely fix. This makes me so angry. Apparently, Cyberpunk 2077 save files will corrupt and become unrecoverable if they reach 8 MB in size, which comes from GOG's support center itself. If you have a game, don't you test it? Now, I understand this game is big. This game had a lot of moving parts and pieces. This game was massive. This game was important to these developers. But when something as simple as save files corrupting and becoming unrecoverable if they reach a certain size, why wasn't that tested? How did they not know that would happen? Are you telling me they didn't ever try to like pick up every item in the game to try to test the features? They literally admitted that they can't fix it. You're telling people you can't play the game the way that you want. Because you guys saw in my main quest, when I did the story for the main quest, I picked up literally everything that I saw. Everything. What if I was playing side quests as well? My game would have been broken halfway through, 100%. I know that they wanted to release the game. They wanted money. They wanted to recoup costs. The executives did. But the way that this launch has gone, didn't they foresee these problems happening? You know, putting a game out in this state is just, it's unacceptable. And I'm not mad at the developers of CD Projekt Red, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. It wasn't their choice to release the game in this quality, at this point in time. Yes, the developers were the ones saying, oh, we should fix this bug over that bug, prioritize this problem over another problem, but it wasn't their choice to have the game released now. And as I've said in many videos, and as a lot of you know, it's obvious to tell why they released the game. They wanted the holiday sales. They needed to recoup money. So the executives thought, we can release it. It might be a little buggy, a little broken, it might not be perfect. We can update it, but we're going to get those sweet, sweet holiday sales. And that's why they wanted to push it out, at least in my opinion. No developers and executives have said that. But from seeing so many failed game launches, it seems pretty obvious that they wanted those holiday sales. So they said, we're just going to push it out now. Developers, you're just going to have to work hard on fixing it. We, a couple of months ago, like 2 months ago, were talking about CD Projekt Red developers crunching. And I don't know if Ryan Kinnell is here still. But, you know, Ryan Kinnell, myself, Yang Ya, lots of creators covered the situation, and we got shit on for it, for talking about CD Projekt Red crunching developers. Besides after the holidays, you know, between the holidays, before and after the holidays, these developers are still crunching because they still need to fix the game, and people are so mad. These executives who wanted this game to release this fast are now mad at these developers for the quality because they're not holding those sales because they're getting so many refunds. So people need to realize that these developers are still crunching, and it's very unfortunate. The developers shouldn't have been forced to crunch over this, and I know that, you know, Poland's rules for crunching and whatnot are different than ours, and they do, you know, need to be paid a certain amount and for certain hours, and they get certain benefits, what have you, but it's still crunch at the end of the day, and I don't support crunch. I'm sorry. I don't support crunch. I do think that, yes, this game needed a lot more work. It wasn't ready to come out, and in CD Projekt Red, it's kind of, I don't want to say getting what they deserve, because I do think that one bad launch doesn't define a company. They've created many other great games, many other great experiences. I don't think that it defines their whole company. But when they're literally admitting, if your save file gets corrupted and unrecoverable, we can't do anything about it, that's a big problem. Having a game where your game could be, your save could be unrecoverable, that's a giant problem. The article does say, according to a new report from Bloomberg, executives at CDPR took responsibility of the buggy release of Cyberpunk and told staff that they will receive their full bonuses no matter how the game is reviewed. I'm glad that they at least did that, because these developers deserve something. They are, you know, getting a lot of negativity right now. People are not very happy with them. I'm glad that they're getting their bonuses. I mean, imagine if they didn't get their bonuses. Holy crap. It says, previously the developers were told that they would receive extra pay based on the game's, you know, performance by Metacritic. And then it finishes off with, although Cyberpunk 2077 has more than made up its costs already, it seems that the founders of developer CDPR are still managing to lose money. A report released by Bloomberg yesterday found that the game's glitches and rocky launch have cost the founders of CDPR over $1 billion freaking dollars. So that's all that I really had to discuss for this topic. It's very unfortunate that this is the situation with Cyberpunk. I was super excited for the game. I talked about it for weeks, months. I had planned so much time to play the game, but, you know, before the holidays. And while I thought the game, you know, had a lot of problems, very buggy, very broken, I thought the basis of it was pretty good. You know, the story was decent. The ending was questionable. I know that there's a bunch of endings, and the first time you end the game, it's bad. But the voice acting was good. The story in general was pretty decent. I thought that it was an okay game, but I feel like if this game had launched in a perfect state without these bugs, without these glitches, it would have been one of the best game launches ever. There was so much hype and excitement and such high expectations around this title that if they had waited and they had launched this in a perfect place and the game didn't have many, if any, problems, it would have been fabulous. But that's all that I really had to discuss tonight, you guys. We talked about Cyberpunk. We talked about Twitch banning accusations of sexual favors between streamers and staff. We talked about, is Wonder Woman 1984 the first Me Too superhero movie? And we talked about Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman's Dragonlance lawsuit against WotC being dismissed without prejudice. So, before I end the live stream, I will talk with you all. We will go to the Q&A portion of the stream. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to put them into the chat now, and I would be happy to answer them. It's been an eventful night. Vera, why didn't you play Death Stranding? Because I don't like walking simulators. If I wanted to play Death Stranding, I'd play a different walking simulator. I watched a whole playthrough of Death Stranding, like all the cutscenes and stuff. It seemed okay. It's just the gameplay itself wasn't really there for me. I went in with zero expectations, didn't read spoilers or updates from the game. So far, I'm enjoying it. Well, awesome. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I thought that the story itself was pretty good, and the gameplay was decent. But, I did face a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, a lot of problems. Witcher 3 didn't launch perfectly, but no one remembers that anymore. I actually mentioned that in a video, 2 Cyberpunk videos ago, maybe 3, that Witcher 3 did launch with problems. It did launch with bugs and glitches. It wasn't this bad, though. It did have some problems, though. Let's all be honest. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't this bad. That's why no one remembers it, because it wasn't terrible, but Cyberpunk is like on another planet at this point with bugs and problems. Recommended games, Condemned, and Time Splitters. Oh shit, Time Splitters! Dude, look what I found you guys the other day. Give me my loot. Give me my loot! Okay, so as you guys know, behind me on the set, I've had Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic behind me, my box version. It is the best video game I've ever played, probably. One of the best video games I've ever played. One of my favorite video games. But look what I found the other day, boys. I'm gonna make my camera bigger for this. Look what I found. It's not very special, but it's special to me. Leaked information. We need like that, you know, that angelic noise. I found it. My boxed version of Morrowind. The Elder Scrolls 3. Guys, listen to the back. I'm just going to read it to you real quick. Live another life. Play any character you can imagine, from the heroic warriors to the secret assassin. Explore another world. The enormous game world is open and free for you to discover. Go anywhere you want and do anything you want. This is the part that got me. Next generation technology. Realistic I'm dying. Next generation technology, realistic textures and objects, incredible polygon counts, and advanced weather systems truly take you to another world. Choose your friends. Involve yourself in guild politics and a huge variety of quests. Thousands of characters remember you and your actions. Just incredible polygon counts. It got me. I couldn't help but laugh, guys. I couldn't help but laugh, guys. Yoink! Please don't fall! Morrowind! Ah! Oh shit, I'm knocking everything over. I need new games to put back here, guys. Do you have any suggested games? I own a lot of games, not a lot in boxes like that. I want to switch out some of the games back there. I need suggestions for games. Preferably not like a $700 game that, you know, is going to cost me my life, literally. Go anywhere you want. Can I go to Italy? I have a physical copy of Rule of Rose. Get wrecked. Oh, fuck you, Trent. Oh, you cocksucker. I want a copy, I want just a copy of Rule of Rose so bad. They're $700. $700. I'm never gonna get it. I'm gonna have to go to Twitch at this rate. KOTOR 2. KOTOR 2 is great. KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2. Will you ever do a tour of your games collection? My games collection is so big, it'd be like a 4-hour-long video. I could never do just one whole tour. I've got a lot of video games, and if we're talking about like other games, like tabletop games, Magic the Gathering, literally could never, unless I spent hundreds of hours organizing it. I actually remember having to use the included map for Morrowind. Oh gosh, the memories. Can't wait for photorealistic graphic games on PS5 with 60 FPS ray tracing. Sounds pretty crazy. $700, yes! Oh, it hurts. Guys, join my Patreon for just $1. I need that shiny rule of rose. So expensive. Some games, guys. No, mama. No, not happening. I don't know what other games I should put behind me on set. What are some nostalgic games? I already have KOTOR. Don't need that. I already have that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I have lots of games. Yeah, I do. Is gaming your biggest hobby? Oh yeah. My life revolves around gaming. It has for years. I worked at a local game store selling games. I play games live every day now. I own hundreds of video games, hundreds of thousands of cards, thousands of comic books. I have a lot of comic books too, but you know, we know how comic books are going. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Oh yeah, that's it, all right. I hate the map for Skyrim. Skyrim was good. Who has a copy of Rule of Rose in their attic? I wish. I wish it was me. But alright, you guys. I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream, enjoyed hanging out for the past, you know, almost 2 hours. Did you get a PS5? Yes, I have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. I do have it. I do have it. Yeah, I'm gonna end the live stream here. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I do very much so appreciate it. If you're not already part of our Discord, please make sure to join it. We are very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you, because YouTube doesn't really like me and they don't like to notify anyone of my content. So, join the Discord. We chat there very often. If you have any questions for me, you can ask them there. The link is in the description. And if you want to support the channel even further, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. All of the support is much appreciated. Make sure to follow me on social media. Everything's in the description, also in chat. So, thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic night, everyone.